Chapter 75. Lee's Up. November 22nd, 1994. Who you worship, nervous on your knees. When you say your prayer, pray for Lee's. Who you worship, nervous on your knees. When you say a prayer,
pray for Lee's.
I was at my house with a few homies when my brother's beeper started beeping. "Grab my beeper for me," he yelled from across the room. My homie B. Clay beeper went off. Then Yuck's beeper went off. Then Bundy's beeper went off. Then Blow's beeper went off. We all stopped what we were doing and began looking at each other with blank stares. Then my beeper went off. What the fuck? My brother looked at his beeper and said, "Lee's." I looked at mine. "Lee's." Yuck looked at his. Lee's hit me too. I looked at Blow, B. Clay, and Bundy and said, "Lee's hit y'all too?" They all responded, "Yup." It was strange and something that has never happened. Everybody got beeped at the same time. All the beepers had the same message. 100. Code 100. Chapter 76. Beep. I was counting money, packaging the coke and weed from the Yardies and Colombians, and cleaning pistols. Lee's was supposed to be on the way here, but he never showed. I planned on meeting up with him later in the day anyway, so it was no big deal. He was always a quiet and humble person, but lately he seemed troubled. He was usually this way after a shootout or after laying all night on an adversary, but lately he has been in deep thought and angsty. As men, we rarely spoke about our emotional issues. It was always kept bottled up on the inside with the expectation that it would work itself out. It was no need to get others involved with our problems, because others had their own problems to deal with. All the beeps came from Benny Lee Lawson. We called him Lee's, his middle name. He was a childhood friend and my brother and Yuck's co-defendant on the gun charges. He always left code 100 on our beepers, and we would automatically know the number to call back to. Or he would leave code 100 just to say, "What's up?" or "I'm good." But when it came in succession, we all looked over at each other wondering what he was up to, or if he was safe. Lee's had awoken late after a long night of reading and meditating, took his time and meticulously got dressed in a tan button-up, brown leather dress shoes, a brown print sweater and a 3/4 length jacket, and got ready to head out. He stopped to message everyone that he loved. 100. 100. Under the cashmere Hugo Boss jacket, he carried a converted, fully automatic Cobra Mac 11 pistol. He had already clicked it from S, semi, to F, fully. This would allow it to shoot at least 12 rounds per second. The extended clip held 30 shots, and 2 extra extended clips were held in his front pockets. While I was beeping him to make sure he was okay, he was on the bus heading downtown. While I was weighing keys of coke and decompressing Thai weed, he was getting off of the bus at Judiciary Square, an area that is mostly occupied by various federal and municipal courthouses, office buildings, and police headquarters. "Hey, Lee's ain't hit nobody back yet?" Bundy asked, to no one in particular. "Nope. I beeped him again and called his house. No answer, I replied. While I was cleaning the Kalashnikovs and the M16s, he was walking into the DC police headquarters, which is a half-mile from the White House, several blocks from the Capitol, and one of the busiest buildings in Washington, D.C., the most powerful city on Earth. The Mac 11 was tucked in his waistband horizontally with the 30-shot clip hanging vertical like scrotums. The building had no security check or metal detectors, just 2 rent-a-cops hovering in the lobby. "Good evening." "Good evening, sir," they replied, having the slightest idea that this evening would not be a good one. Chapter 78, Shift Change. Cops across America routinely disrespected, dishonored, lied, stole, killed, and were notorious for beating her citizens in interrogation rooms. They were known to routinely torture black men with impunity, frame black men to applause, kill black men and be celebrated with a bonus and paid leave. Cops in America killed upwards of 1,000 of her citizens every year, with a vast majority being unarmed, with less than 0.5% of the cops prosecuted and 0.001% convicted. Black people in America has always viewed the police with suspicion. Even if a cop was there to help, we were always wary of their presence because the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Armed with all of these facts, somehow their arrogance pushed them to believe they didn't need any form of security at their place of congregation, their headquarters. They believed that no one had the audacity to even think of entering a building filled with armed Gestapos with the intention to do harm. It probably never even crossed their minds that anyone would even dream of such a thing. They underestimated everyone, including people they assaulted, framed, and dishonored. The fatal mistakes of fools. Benny walked through the corridors of the large building filled with cops with the Mac 11 on his waist. He had a mission and a target. He looked into a few offices filled with FBI agents, homicide detectives, and local cops. He even asked a few detectives if they knew of the location of the officer he was looking for. He took a sip of water from a water fountain and paused to observe the hundreds of officers milling around conversing, laughing, plotting, and scheming. The stalkers were being stalked in their own backyard without an inkling of thought. A tiger was laying in the shrubs and his claws were deep into the soil, while the wildebeest mingled in his presence, sucking up dirt with their nostrils. A few of them were about to get eaten, and they wouldn't even see it coming. Benny asked another detective for an officer's name, and he told him to check on the 3rd floor. That was the last place he had seen him. Benny headed straight for the elevator. It was 3:30 p.m. Shift change.